everybody, welcome back to SV's Passion. So in our today's gardening episode, we are going to see how to make our own compost. So this is how I maintain my own compost. So this is a Rubbermaid roughneck big bin. So my everyday vegetable peels and fruit peels go into this, eggshells, anything you can put it into this. So before you set up this bin, layer it down the bottom with a layer of peat moss or any grass clipping or any brown matter. It could be dried leaves, anything. So these twigs and sticks of plants at the bottom of your bin, it'll be very helpful. It will stop the pooling of water at the base. Then you can add a layer of vegetable peel and your fruit peel, and then you layer it with a layer of peat moss again. So as and when you add, for every layer of vegetable peel you can add a layer of peat moss. So before you add these stuff in, add some holes on the sides for drainage so that the liquid from your compost will drain out and not keep it soggy inside. So I have made holes on my bin here. Hope you can see the holes here. So I have made drainage holes here as well as on the bottom. So this will help to keep it aerated, to reduce the odor inside, as well as to drain the water that is inside the bin. So now you can see I have already added a layer of vegetable matter here. Now I'll show you the peat moss that I have added. So your compost bin should have equal amounts of carbon as well as the nitrogen source. So for your carbon matter, you can have newspapers, cardboards, egg cartons, paper towel roll, dry grass and anything. For the green source, as you always know, your vegetable and fruit peel, eggshells, green leaves, plant cuttings, the lawn mower which you have those grass clippings, tea and coffee grounds. Remember not to add any meat, for cooked food or bakery items into your green bin. So this is the peat moss that I am adding to my compost, my garden bed, my lawn, everywhere you can use this one. So this is for organic growing. So it has all the instructions at the back how we can use it for different purposes. So for the remaining information, you can Google how to use this. So this is basically a moss variety that is dried up, and this will help to retain the moisture as well as absorb the excess moisture from the soil. So if you add this to compost, your excess moisture will be added to this and it will reduce the odor that is coming out of your compost bin. If you are very sensitive to all these smell, make sure you use a disposable mask before you handle the peat moss or the compost bin. The peat moss is filled with a lot of loose stuff, so it might fly around, so keep your nose covered. Now on top of the vegetable peels, I'm going to just cap it with a layer of peat moss. So on the top of your peat moss pack, it's going to tell you how much of peat moss to add for the vegetable matter that's in your compost bin. But I just add an approximate amount just to keep my vegetable peels covered so that there is no bad odor coming out. So you can fill this bin for over a year over the winter and then you can use it for your spring garden. So I keep it covered to avoid animals getting into it, or if you have raccoons around your neighborhood, they might tumble off these bins. So keep them covered to avoid insects and flies and animals. So that's how I maintain my compost bin. Now there are two types of compost, the hot and the cold compost. Now if your compost doesn't have any bacterial work going on, it may not compost soon. So that's called a cold compost, and it will take about an year for it to get ready. For a hot compost, you need to be adding a pack of organic fertilizers or a handful of worms to start the composting process real quick. So when you open the bin, the lid of your bin, you will see a lot of vapor on the lid and also some steam coming out. This is called hot composting. So hot composting is really quick. Within 3 months your compost will be ready to be used. For this to happen, definitely you have to keep your compost bin covered and try to sprinkle water now and then to keep it moist. It shouldn't be soggy, but it should be moist. So what you see here is the layer of your compost bin. So the bottommost layer will be the leaves and the twigs. Then on top of it you can add your grass clippings, vegetable matter, and then again layer it with the leaves or your peat moss. Since we don't get dry leaves year round, so I use my peat moss to layer it as a carbon matter. The next one is the vermicompost. Vermicompost is nothing but lot of earthworms in your compost is going to give you a rich soil. So dig some earthworms around your garden and try to drop a few into your compost bin. That will help you get a quicker compost. So hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed, do so.